the Newport Jazz Festival, but especially today with my friends, with Joshua Redman, and playing alongside of Branford Marsalis, and that was a really big deal and a great honor to do that.
Is that a particularly fun experience about being at a festival, that you get to see Kevin or some of these other people?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. And also that I'm comfortable here. I'm comfortable with the audience. I'm comfortable with the venue. And this is our last summer festival. And I'm glad. I was saying when we were coming in, I said I'm glad it's Newport because I have such good memories from this festival.
And your new album is a little bit different. Do you want to tell us about how it's been an advance in?
Yeah. It also, I'm more comfortable by the beach. I'm comfortable playing near the water. If you want to go on that, there's that other side of things where I'm comfortable with, even though it was cold and the wind's blowing, and my new album was photographed in Carmel on the beach, and I'm comfortable just because I grew up in British Columbia with the mountains on one side and the beach on the other. I like the sort of environmental, to play outside like that. It's kind of inspiring to have the water in front of you. New album is with Johnny Mandel doing the orchestrations, but it's not that much of a departure actually. We made sure we kept the intimacy of what we do, with a duo and trio and quartet, and I think the whole record we've just made sure that it's very intimate.
And how do you enjoy touring, and how does that influence your musical development, your performing?
Well, of course I like touring. I like spending time in different places and seeing different people. It's really important for me to have relationships with people and develop relationships and spend time in other places and learn from different. Learn about different countries that I'm in and learn from the people that are there. So.
And do you learn from the audience, kind of, how to move them or how to get more involved?
Do I learn from the audience? I don't know if I learn from the audience, maybe a little bit. But I never thought about that. I thought about just. It's a good question. I think I'm inspired by the audience. Is more.
Better
Yeah.
word.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that feedback that they give you, kind of,
Sure, it's fun. It's like talking to somebody. It's like having a conversation. Okay, if I talk to you and I'm saying, "Wow, I went to this great film and I saw this person and I actually got to meet Steve Martin and, I liked him since I was a kid and, I remember the arrow in the head and the whole thing, the banjo. I'm rambling, and man, I got to meet him last week and he actually came up to me and introduced himself to me and you look at me and you go, uh-huh." It's like, wow, that's great. I remember when I did it. So it's it's sort of like a conversation. So it's nice when you have conversations with audience, even if they're yelling out, "PLB, great!" It's like, let's relax. It ain't over yet. But the fact that they are doing that, it makes you happy. And an audience, you see somebody out there just like grooving with what you're doing. You're like, oh, good. They feel what we're trying to do. But if you have like poker faces. Of course you want them to react. That's the point, You want them to share your own experience, but have their own individual experience.
And the conversation that a Joshua has with the audience in the same way. Are you inspired or influenced by, being here at this site with these other performers?
Oh, with Josh?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. But yeah, Joshua is a good friend of mine, and his wife, Gabrielle Armand, is one of my best friends, and we talked beforehand. So it's a really nice place to hang and talk with your peers and listen to them and because we often don't get a chance to see each other that much. So yeah.
Okay, that's good. What's next for Diana Krall? What's coming up in your life?
Oh gosh, I'm going to LA tomorrow. I'm meeting with some people for some just work sort of things and. I'm coming up with a tour of Canada with orchestras, another tour in September. So it's going to be a very busy fall that's going to end up in Antarctica on a boat for New Year's Eve.
Wow,
it's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
I actually just did a photo shoot this week for Glamour magazine with Michael O'Neill, a great photographer, with penguins. Real live penguins, and I had them like sitting on my arms. It was so great. It was just this December. It was fun. It was nice working with these live animals who were so sweet. I'm having a really good time.
Your music has started to show up in movies. Are you
Yeah.
getting more involved in that kind of thing too?
Yep, that's why I'm going to LA this week.
They're not going to hear my question, so you got to.
Oh, I'm going to Los Angeles this week to work with, I'm doing my own video and meeting with a couple of other directors to talk about some film things. So.
Is there any acting in your future?
I don't know, we'll see. I've become really good friends with Stanley Donen, who, I don't know if you know, he directed Singing in the Rain when he was 24, and Jerry the Mouse with Gene Kelly, and directed Love Letters to Charade and Pajama Game, Singing in the Rain, Royal Wedding, and he and I become really pretty tight. And I'm kind of at a growth spurt right now where I'm meeting people in different genres who have been kind enough and generous enough to spend time with me and teach me about other art forms, which all sort of comes together. So I'm having a very interesting time right now, trying to acquire as much knowledge and be in these master classes, as I call them, with people that I can. I'm going to see Rosemary Clooney next week and hang with her again and ask her questions, and it's good. Very lucky.
And isn't there a little Brazilian influence coming your way?
Mm-hmm. I'm supposed to work with. Well, the two tracks we did on this album were very, influenced by João Gilberto and Astrid Gilberto and Antonio Carlos Jobim and, of course, Frank Sinatra. So maybe there's more of that in the future.
Anything else that you want to?
No, I'm cool. Just having a good time.
10 years ago, when you were playing cocktail piano in hotels, could you have envisioned what's happened to your life today?
No, and I don't think that I wasn't envisioning anything other than I'd like to have a record out, and it was all about music. I hope that I could survive playing the music that I liked, and if that was in a quote-unquote cocktail lounge, it wasn't my ideal place. I'd like to have people who come to hear me, but it wasn't to be in lights and movies and this and this and this. But I always know that I was curious about film and about someone like Stanley Donen or Sidney Pollack or, it doesn't. Mr. Crumb, who was on the plane next to me, telling me about how his wife went to see Frank Sinatra. This lovely gentleman that I sat next to on a plane. And no, I think that I tell students that your passion is that whatever you do, you find a way to do it. And if you want to play piano and sing, if how you're going to pay your rent is by doing that initially, then you do that and you keep your integrity. I just have great respect for people say, well, there's not many people who do what you do. You play piano and you sing, and it's a very rare thing. I'm like, where have you been? Every bar in America has some person hiding there who's passionate about songs and about music. They might not, be, ready to make their. It doesn't matter. It's just that they're there, busting their behinds, and they're passionate about what they do, and that's the most important thing. I always take people very seriously. If you're serious enough to want to play music well and do it with integrity and honesty, then that's the bottom line, isn't it? Really? Then if it carries you somewhere else, you have to keep that integrity and that honesty. It's just a venue change.
What's the toughest thing about what life has brought your way?
I don't really look at negatives. The best thing is that I could look at it two ways. The glass is half empty or the glass is half full. Toughest thing is that I miss my family. The best thing is that I can afford to bring my family to me and share it with them. So there's not really any kind of tough thing. My mother, I love that sound. I grew up with ferry. I can call my mother and I can hear the ferry boat. The toughest thing has been there's been no tough stuff. My mother had cancer 3 years ago, underwent a bone marrow transplant, and it was hard to be away from her at that time. But now, 3 years later, on the anniversary of her bone marrow transplant, we sat in Paris at the Coste Hotel and cracked a bottle of champagne open and cheered my mom and dad and I, saying we didn't think we'd be doing this 3 years ago. So that's like the best part, is being able to share it with my family and also meeting people who I I learn from and am inspired by. But yeah, so I'm pretty involved with my family.
It's good to maintain that in spite of time zones and jet lag.
It's no big deal. They're so excited. I mean, my mom now and my dad and I are involved in working on it. The best part about it, again, is that I can use my art, what I do, to make money for the bone marrow unit in Vancouver and do benefits. Is a very simple thing to, play for a couple hours, even though it's more complicated than that because you have a venue and you do this, but to put on a program where other people organize it, I come up and show up for a couple hours and it benefits something that, sort of saved my mom's life and maybe not so much other people are so lucky, but other, the hope that you can provide money for a cause that I think is really important. And it's a very simple thing because when you do, I don't feel like I get paid to play and sing. I get to do that, but I get paid to, schlep my bags around and stuff like that,
That's what Phil
That's a
Woods always
challenge.
said, you don't pay me to play, you pay to get me there.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Play
Playing's
'cause I
fun.
have to.
yeah.
Travel's not so fun, but playing is.
No, it's okay. I'm having a great time right now.
Good.
Just because also my family they're healthy and well, and that's the most important thing in life, that you have that. And then if you have a great time, able to share that with them, it's kind of a pretty rare thing maybe.